Welcome to our fifth event on our nationwide Stop Three Waters roadshow. It's delighted to be joined here today with your local MP Joseph Mooney and Stuart Smith, MP for Coromandel. Kaikoura, sorry. We have also invited Mayor Bolt. I haven't seen him here yet. So thanks for coming. Why is the Taxpayers Union taking such a big interest in Three Waters? I have one question for you. Do you think co-governance is going to result in higher taxes or lower taxes? And that's your answer. The idea that Three Waters, according to Ngāi Mahuta, is both going to result in efficiencies and more affordable water, but also 9,000 new jobs, is simply nuts. We all know that a bigger bureaucracy, for you here in Queenstown, something goes wrong with your water, you've got a leak on the street, the idea that you'll have to call Christchurch and that will be a better service rather than something that is locally controlled is simply not the case. So the first is high water costs, the second unnecessary bureaucracy, the third is local control. Well, we have a message today for Willie Jackson, who says that democracy doesn't work, is that a bad democracy is a heck of a lot better than anything the government or he is putting up on Ngāi Mahuta. Last week we released polling showing that 76% of New Zealanders say yes when we ask them whether water services should be directly accountable to voters. 76% yes, just 8% no, with the rest undecided. And the fourth point, high water costs, unnecessary bureaucracy, no local control. The fourth, which I know is what's driving a lot of concern about the Three Waters proposals, is fundamentally it's undemocratic. There may be problems with water in various parts of the country, but fundamentally we can kick councillors and councils out, and the Three Waters proposal removes that democratic accountability. So we're touring New Zealand over the next 5 weeks, doing it's now more than 40 towns and cities and events with two messages. The first is that the government should be getting out on the road and talking to the local communities affected by Three Waters. Ngāi Mahuta ran a consultation with councils that was an absolute sham. She said she promised New Zealanders and the councils around the country that Three Waters would remain an opt-in, opt-out structure, and she said that she would listen to feedback. Now we know that before the feedback deadline had even closed, she'd already gone to Cabinet and had the sign-off to make Three Waters compulsory for all the councils. So we are doing what the government is not, and we're touring New Zealand, listening to the concerns of communities up and down the country, and we are calling on the government and the select committee that will be referred this bill likely next week in Parliament to get on the road and do a roadshow tour. It's been done plenty of times before by select committees when a bill affects local communities, as this one does. And the second message is we're asking local community leaders to sign our appeal to the Prime Minister, calling on her to protect local democracy and stop Three Waters. And I'm going to be inviting these two gentlemen to sign it in a moment. We've also asked the Mayor here in Queenstown, because Queenstown Lakes is an interesting council in that it apparently opposes the Three Waters reforms. It initially voted to join the councils actually doing something about it, calling a group called Communities for Local Democracy, and then having made the decision after some complaints from Ngāi Tahu, they U-turned. They totally capitulated, gave up any opposition to the loss of local control and democracy as it comes to Three Waters. So this council, I'm about to make that point, sir, this council is saying that somehow they're going to manage the local roads, but the stormwater inherently connected to it is going to be run from Christchurch. That is simply nuts. I have a bouquet though. There is hope. Councillors Nikki Gladding and Quinton Smith, who I understand are coming to our event in Wanaka tomorrow evening that we're co-hosting with Groundswell. They were the only two that held out. So if you see them around town, give them your support, because they were the two lonely voices, and one of the things that our job is to frankly stiffen the spine of the rest of those jellyfish that sit around the Queenstown Lakes Council chamber. And the second role obviously is to ensure that these guys that have promised to reform it, they've promised now, Chris Luxon in the first 100 days of a change of government has promised to withdraw Three Waters, but we need to make sure that, okay, if there's a change of government, there's also a change in direction. Because what they haven't yet committed to, and I'm hoping they might today, is to ensure that the new model doesn't involve just a watered down version of co-governance. So I'll hand it over to you fine gentlemen, and then we'll have a word from the sponsor at the end.
Thanks, Jordan. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joseph Mooney, the local MP for the National Party, and representing this area, representing you if you live in the Southland electorate. Look, the National Party will repeal this Three Waters proposal or legislation in its first 100 days of government if we win the election next year. So there's a very good reason, if you don't agree with this proposal, to get out and vote for the National Party at next year's general election. We don't believe this is the solution. There are some local bodies around the country which do have issues with their Three Waters. They have been underinvested for a very long time, and they need some support. This is not the way to do it. If anyone thinks that taking away control from local communities is going to improve your water, quite frankly, it's not going to. If we see all of our water controlled in four mega entities across New Zealand, it's going to fundamentally take away the right for communities and the opportunity for communities to have a say in the development and the operation of their community, because water is critical for our communities. There's other ways to solve these issues, and we'll be working on those over time, but we fundamentally think we should be empowering our local bodies, our local councils, to build the infrastructure needed so we can power up regional New Zealand. This is not the way to go about it. It's pretty simple. We will repeal it, and we will work on working with local bodies so they can represent their communities, so there can be local democracy. It's absolutely critical. National strongly believes in democracy. We believe in local democracy, and that's why I'm here with my colleague Stuart Smith standing up, saying, our message is very clear. So look, I'll hand over to Stuart Smith from there.
Thanks, Joseph, and thank you all for coming. I think we all are opposed to this. I assume everyone is that it's turned up here. If you don't turn up and you don't have your say, you'll get what you deserve, which is this being bulldozed over top of you. Evil only triumphs when good people remain silent. You have to stand up. You have to have your say, and you do need to put the pressure on people like Joseph and myself to ensure that we do keep our word. We will, but we need the note to know that the people are with us as well. And I congratulate the Taxpayers Union for putting this together and really putting their money where their mouth is, getting out and touring the country. And I was really surprised the number of people that have come out today on a street corner in a tourist centre of Queenstown to come along and sign this petition. There's been a number of people signing that I've watched since we've been here. So well done to you guys, and please do put your name on the piece of paper. It does actually make a difference. So thanks once again for coming, and let's stop Three Waters.
Well, that's a very good segue into my question for everyone here today, as we are just shy of 100,000 signatures on our Stop Three Waters petition. We've got hard copies here for you to sign, or you can head to stopthreewaters.nz and sign it. In politics, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and personally I am delighted that despite the incredibly naive coverage coming out of the newsrooms in Auckland and Wellington that New Zealanders are still turning up in their droves and saying no. We did an event yesterday in Fairley, a town of 800. 30, 40 people turned up. That this is talking to the local communities because they understand that we paid for these assets over generations and that fundamentally they should stay in their hands. I've got one piece of bad news, and that is that in comparison to Canterbury, I'm sad to say I didn't see nearly as many Stop Three Waters banners on the road over this morning driving in. But the good news is that a couple of days ago we had a generous supporter offered to heavily subsidise those enormous Stop Three Waters banners. So we're selling them here today at half the cost, $50 each. The yard signs here, sir, I'm sure fine model here to show, isn't it beautiful? For $10. Have a chat to my colleagues Connor or Levi over there. We'll be selling them off the back of a truck. I said that I was going to plant a plug to the sponsor, and the sponsor, I'm very proud to say, is literally thousands of New Zealanders that have chipped in to make the Stop Three Waters campaign happen. We've obviously got the legal case that hits court in relation to calling the Naya Mahuta's bluff. She claims that she had legal advice. This is in her memos to Cabinet. She claimed to have legal advice from Crown Law saying that the co-governance model was required under the treaties. Now she's trying to suppress it from the public. In fact, she's not only not releasing the legal advice, she's trying to suppress the court orders in relation to the advice she gave her Cabinet colleagues to justify this model. Thank you to the support of literally thousands of New Zealanders that have made that possible. You may have seen the television ad exposing the truth. You might not get it on One News, but you'll certainly get it in their ad breaks about the truth on Three Waters, and obviously this nationwide tour. We're totally supported, no offence gents, we don't get any taxpayer funded. We are totally supported by the goodwill of New Zealanders like you that care to make a difference, and most importantly, keep control of local water assets. And thank you for making this possible and working together. Let's stop Three Waters. Thanks very much. We have a mayoral candidate. It's always dangerous giving a politician or a prospective politician a microphone, but that's okay. Well, who wishes to address us?
Yeah, I've just declared again that we're going to stand and have another crack at getting this council honest somehow or another. If you think the government can run our water, they can't even run an airline without putting $1 billion a year into it. So it's just nonsense all the way down the line. 9,000 jobs. I don't know if Nanaya's got 9,000 relatives, but by Christ, we certainly need to stop this carry on.
Gents, we'll get you to sign, as community leaders, sign the appeal now. You're welcome to join, yeah.
You could have spoken longer.
Short and sweet. I'm going to be a famous one. Thank you.